Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. SCO should be more flexible and adaptable, says External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Moscow, proposes to make English the official language of the SCO. Trump to host Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the White House later today for the first time since the Khashoggi crisis. US-Saudi business deals expected to be inked. Kremlin says Russia will not participate in Ukraine talks in Turkey on Wednesday, but added President Putin was open to discuss the results of the talks with both the US and Turkey. And calm but tense Bangladesh under tight security as Awami League calls for nationwide total shutdown after the Hasina verdict. India's External Affairs Minister delivered his remarks at the SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting in Moscow on Tuesday. Extending support to SCO's reform-oriented agenda, Dr. Jaishankar said that SCO must be more flexible and more adaptable. He also said that long-delayed decision to make English as an official language of the SCO must be prioritized.
India strongly supports its reform-oriented agenda. We welcome centers addressing challenges such as organized crime, drug trafficking, and cybersecurity. As the organization becomes more diverse, the SCO must be more flexible and more adaptable. To this end, the long-delayed decision to make English an official language of the SCO must be prioritized. Colleagues, Excellencies, we all recognize that the SCO must keep up with contemporary changes.
Noting that SCO was founded to combat three evils of terrorism, separatism and extremism, Dr. Jaishankar stressed that the world must display zero tolerance towards terrorism.
We must never forget that the SCO was founded to combat the three evils of terrorism, separatism and extremism. These threats have become even more serious in the years that have passed. It is imperative that the world display zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. There can be no justification, no looking away, and no whitewashing. As India has demonstrated, we have the right to defend our people against terrorism and will exercise it.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said on Tuesday that India-United States relations are strategic, enduring and continuously growing, with negotiations for a fair, balanced bilateral trade agreement in advanced stages. Addressing the 22nd Indo-United States Economic Summit, Piyush Goyal emphasized defense cooperation, rising exports, Uttar Pradesh's development and India's deep tech innovation drive towards becoming a developed country by 2047. The Indian minister stressed that no pause exists in the partnership and any trade deal must remain equitable while safeguarding India's national interest.
The story of Indo-American partnership can best be described as two trusted partners working together for the shared prosperity not only of both countries but of the entire world. The US also shares a strong bond with India. They see India as a trusted partner. We are both equally committed to working to expand trade and commerce between the two countries. And when the deal becomes fair, equitable, balanced.
At the COP30 conference underway in Brazil, India has called for developed countries to reach net zero earlier and deliver climate finance in trillions. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, said the summit should be a COP of implementation and a COP of delivery on promises.
India has urged developed countries to demonstrate greater climate ambition and honor their commitments while delivering national statement at COP30 in Belém, Brazil. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Bhupendra Yadav called for COP30 to be remembered as a COP of implementation and a COP of delivery on promises. The minister conveyed India's appreciation to the government and people of Brazil for hosting COP30 in the heart of Amazon.
Under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, India has demonstrated successfully that development and environmental stewardship can advance in tandem. India's emission intensity has declined by over 36% since 2005. India's non-fossil fuel-based energy capacity, currently around 256 gigawatt, accounts for more than half of its total electric installed capacity. An NDC target achieved 5 years ahead of this schedule. Initiatives such as the International Solar Alliance and Global Biofuel Alliance have become global platform for performing affordable and clean energy.
India's Minister Bhupendra Yadav also addressed the high-level ministerial segment on the International Big Cat Alliance COP30. He called for renewed global cooperation to protect big cat species and their habitats as part of integrated climate and biodiversity action. Bhupendra Yadav also met UK Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero Edward Miliband on the sidelines of the COP30 summit and discussed various issues related to climate. He highlighted the need for collaboration on climate resilience, particularly in vulnerable regions. As many as 18 industries and research institutions from India and Sweden will soon initiate projects involving value creation. Addressing the lead IT industry leaders roundtable, Bhupendra Yadav underscored India's commitment to collaborative, technology-driven and sustainable industrial transitions under the Paris Agreement. COP30 host Brazil on Monday extended negotiations into the night at the UN climate talks as they push for a rapid compromise among countries very much at deep odds. Bureau Report, DD India.
President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday conferred the 6th National Water Awards at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, honouring individuals, institutions and states for exceptional work in water conservation and management. Take a look at this report for more.
At New Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan, the country's highest office honoured the nation's finest water champions on Tuesday. President Draupadi Murmu presented the 6th National Water Award celebrating outstanding contributions in rejuvenating rivers, conserving groundwater, promoting efficient irrigation, and innovating in community water management. This year, 46 winners, including joint winners across 10 categories, were selected from 751 applications received through the National Awards portal. The awards recognize excellence in fields ranging from state-level governance to grassroots innovation.
हमारे देश में जल का 80% उपयोग कृषि क्षेत्रों में होता है। इसीलिए कृषि क्षेत्र में जल के सक्षम उपयोग पर सबसे अधिक जोर देने की आवश्यकता है। निरंतर इनोवेशंस करते रहने की आवश्यकता है। जनशक्ति के बल पर ही जल शक्ति का संचयन और संरक्षण किया जा सकता है।
In the category of Best State, Maharashtra secured the first prize, followed by Gujarat and Haryana. The awards also honoured top performers in districts, village panchayats, schools, industries, water user associations, institutions, civil society groups, and individuals driving change in the water sector. Among the standout categories, village panchayats were recognized for pioneering rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharge. Urban local bodies were awarded for transforming wastewater management, while schools and colleges showcased innovative awareness campaigns. Industries received honors for cutting down water usage through recycling and modern treatment technologies. The awards also celebrated civil society organizations and individual water warriors, from grassroots activists reviving local water bodies to innovators developing low-cost solutions for rural water scarcity. The Ministry of Jal Shakti has been presenting the National Water Awards since 2018 to promote a mass movement for water conservation. This year's winners reflect how community participation, science-based tools, and traditional knowledge together can build a water-secure future. Bureau Report, DD India.
Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution Minister Prahlad Joshi launched a suite of digital initiatives aimed at modernizing warehousing operations, improving supply chain efficiency and enhancing transparency across the public distribution system. He highlighted the ministry's continued efforts to drive digital transformation in the food and public distribution sector. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said such initiatives support the government's mission of reducing logistics costs and minimizing turnover time.
अभी हमने एक आशा करके एक पोर्टल लॉन्च किया है। राशन जिसको मिला है वो राशन उसका फीडबैक जब हमको मिलता है, जब वो फीडबैक के अनुसार जब हम एक्ट नहीं करते हैं तो टेक्नोलॉजी उपयोग नहीं होता है। सो टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन विकसित भारत ये प्रधानमंत्री जी का सोच है।
The 11th PhD CCI Global Aviation and Air Cargo Conclave 2025 commenced today at Yashobhoomi in New Delhi. The two-day conclave from November 18th to 19th brings together industry leaders, policymakers and stakeholders to discuss strategies for strengthening India's aviation, air cargo and MRO ecosystem. Speaking at the event, Civil Aviation Minister K. Ram Mohan Naidu highlighted India's growth in the aviation sector worldwide.
Indian skies are today gateways to connectivity, gateways to commerce, and gateways to global collaboration. India has witnessed a revolution in the skies. Our aviation network has expanded from 74 airports in 2014 to 164 and counting to the present day. India has emerged as a strategic gateway for passenger movements, cargo transshipments and MRO activity.
In a major breakthrough, Andhra Pradesh Greyhounds eliminated the top Nakshal commander Hidma and 5 of his associates in a fierce encounter in Alluri, Sitaramaraju district of Andhra Pradesh. Nakshal leader Hidma had a 1 crore Indian rupees bounty on his head and was involved in several major Nakshal attacks. The gunfight, which took place in the morning, followed intelligence on Nakshal activities along the Andhra Pradesh-Chhattisgarh-Odisha border. Security forces continue cordon and search operations in the area. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. US House to vote on Epstein files after Trump reversed his stance following bipartisan push and call from survivors. And the United Nations says it lacks billions of dollars to feed the world's hungry.
India did not agree that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. This was a birth of a country or two countries, but it was a birth that was also an abortion because you were literally killing this country that was being born at that point. Every time a Muslim came to prominence in India, President of India, Chief Justice of India, cricket captains, whatever, it was a standing rebuke of the very Pakistani idea. If a Muslim could achieve all this in India, then why did Pakistan need to be created?
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. On to Bangladesh now. The country on Tuesday remained calm but tense as security forces kept a tight grip on the streets across major cities following the Awami League's call for a nationwide total shutdown to protest the death sentence handed down to its chief and former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. No incident of violence was reported, while traffic in Dhaka and other major cities stayed thin and public movement was limited amid fears of possible unrest following Monday's high-profile verdict. Authorities kept security cordons in parts of the capital, while checkpoints and barricades remained in place. Hasina's Awami League party, in a statement posted on social media on Monday, called for a nationwide total shutdown on Tuesday in protest against Hasina's verdict. It has also called for nationwide demonstrations, protests and resistance from November 19th to 21st. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is set to receive a grand welcome from the US President Donald Trump on Tuesday. Both sides are set to sign key defense and civilian nuclear cooperation deals, including the sale of F-35 fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. Trump is also expected to urge the Crown Prince to move towards normalizing ties with Israel as part of a wider Middle East peace push after the Gaza conflict. It will be the first trip by Mohammed bin Salman, widely known as MBS, to the US since the 2018 killing of Saudi critic Jamal Khashoggi, which triggered global outrage. During a day of White House diplomacy, MBS will hold talks with Trump in the Oval Office, have lunch in the cabinet room and attend a formal black-tie dinner in the evening. The Republican-controlled US House of Representatives will vote on Tuesday on forcing the release of investigative files on the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, with passage seen as all but guaranteed after President Trump dropped his long-standing opposition to the move. Trump's reversal late on Sunday came days after a House petition gathered enough support to force a vote, a rare instance of House Republicans defying the president's wishes.
US lawmakers are bracing for a major showdown this week as the House prepares to vote on releasing long-sealed government files on convicted sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. The Epstein Files Transparency Act is expected to advance with a rare bipartisan backing after more than 100 Republicans joined Democrats in demanding the documents be made public. Lawmakers recently released a trove of emails obtained from Epstein's estate. In one such message, Epstein wrote that Trump spent hours with one of the victims at his house and another referred to the president as dirty. The revolt forced President Trump to reverse his opposition, saying lawmakers should vote for release, claiming he has nothing to hide.
Let the Senate look at it, let anybody look at it, but don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
The call for release of files continues to gain momentum. Many more survivors have not intensified their appeal for the same. A new video has also surfaced featuring the survivors who have urged Congress to act. Many are addressing the media directly and asking for the release of the files.
So much pain, so much pain,
so much pain. I beg you to release these files once and for all. I mean, there is no valid reason for refusing to do so. So you can't claim that it is to protect the victims. I mean, when it is the victims, myself and the victims, that have been calling for the files to be released.
If the bill clears the House, it faces a tougher path in the Senate, and Trump could still veto it, but public and political pressure for answers continues to grow. Many MAGA supporters have voiced their opposition to his stance earlier, which many believe played a part in Trump's reversal vis-a-vis the issue of the release of Epstein files. Anamika Pandey's report, TD India.
In France, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is visiting the Spanish Parliament on Tuesday as part of his European trip. Zelensky was greeted by Parliament Speaker Francina Armengol and President of Spanish Senate Pedro Rollin. Zelensky is expected to meet with Spanish Defense Minister and later will join Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Further, he has planned to go to Turkey on Wednesday in an attempt to revive talks with Russia on how to end the war in Ukraine. Further, Zelensky said he will visit Turkey on Wednesday in an attempt to revive talks with Russia on ending the conflict. Zelensky will meet his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara, where his main goal is for the Americans to re-engage in peace efforts. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will also visit Turkey on Wednesday to participate in the planned talks on the Ukraine crisis. Meanwhile, the Kremlin said that Russian representatives will not participate in talks on Ukraine in Turkey on November 19th. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov further added that President Vladimir Putin was open to conversations with the US and Turkey on the results of the talks.
No, there will be no Russian representative in Turkey tomorrow. For now, these contacts are taking place without Russian participation. We will await information on what will actually be discussed in Istanbul.
Further, Russia and the United States have discussed the possibility of conducting another prisoner swap. Russian President Vladimir Putin's special envoy Kirill Dmitriev said in an interview published on Tuesday. A US official confirmed his statement and said the US side was receptive but cautioned that nothing was imminent. President Trump's administration earlier this year secured the release of Mark Fagel, a US school teacher and former employee of the US Embassy in Moscow, and Russian-American ballerina Ksenia Karelina. In August 2024, the US and Russia carried out their biggest prisoner exchange since the Cold War, with 24 prisoners gaining their freedom, including US journalist Ivan Gershkovich and ex-US Marine Paul Whelan. According to sources, Dmitriev discussed the idea of the latest swap with the US envoy Steve Witkoff and other administration officials. The United Nations World Food Programme warned on Tuesday that severe funding shortages will prevent it from assisting more than one-third of the 318 million people projected to face acute hunger in 2026. The agency plans to prioritize aid for approximately 110 million of the most vulnerable individuals, requiring $13 billion. Yet, current forecasts suggest it may receive only half that amount. The surge in hunger, more than double the 2019 figure, stems from ongoing conflict, extreme weather and economic instability. World Food Programme Executive Director Cindy McCain described the global response as unacceptable, noting that rising attacks on aid workers and widespread ration cuts are visible. And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. French Interior Minister Laurent Nunez officially opened Millipore, the country's leading event for homeland security and safety, during a visit to the exhibition centre in the suburbs of Paris. It is organised every 2 years in partnership with several national and international institutions. In 2023, the event gathered over 1,100 exhibitors and over 30,000 visitors. Indonesian authorities said on Tuesday that they had detained a Chinese real estate executive wanted over the default of $138 million corporate loan. The 58-year-old man was arrested on Indonesia's western island of Batam after a request was received from the Chinese embassy. United States has delivered 1,000 doses of drug lenacapavir, a new treatment to prevent HIV, in 2 African countries. Zambia and Eswatini each received roughly 500 doses months after President Donald Trump dramatically cut global aid. US State Department announced plan in September to bring lenacapavir to market at cost in high-burden HIV countries to reach 2 million people over the 3 years. And in sports now, Kylian Mbappe and Paris Saint-Germain have taken their bitter financial dispute to a Paris labour court. The France captain is demanding over 260 million euros, including 55 million euros in unpaid wages, citing contract breaches and alleged psychological harassment. PSG hit back with a 240 million euro counterclaim, blaming Mbappe for a collapsed 300 million euro transfer to Saudi club Al Hilal in 2023. Mbappe's lawyer insists that the Saudi offer was never shown to the player. The clash between one of the football's biggest stars and his former club now moves into the courtroom with hundreds of millions of dollars at stake. The United States will fast-track visa appointments for foreign fans holding tickets to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, President Donald Trump announced. The matches will run from June 11th to July 19th across 11 US cities, with Mexico and Canada also hosting games. A new scheduling system will prioritize ticket holders, aiming to ease entry amid high demand. The move comes after Trump's meeting with FIFA President Gianni Infantino at the White House. FIFA confirmed over 1 million tickets have been sold to fans from 212 countries. The tournament could generate $30 billion and create some 200,000 jobs. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.